Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is round 4 of the New South Wales Tournament Series. It was held up at Lake Macquarie in New South Wales back on the 15th of June in 2025. Now, there's a couple of things we've got to get through before we get into this round, a little bit of housekeeping or what have you. So I'm going to roll the intros and then run through all that and get you straight into the episode. Here we go.
Welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target bream on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite bream competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here is your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
All right. So just what I was talking about in the beginning there is anyone that's been around and listened to the podcast for a while will know that back in the early days or up to about episode 112, we used to run what we call baked in ads in the show. So baked in, it means that, I would read the ad, it would get put into the MP3 file and that's where it is. Now, over the coming weeks, you're probably going to start hearing those again and maybe even some new ones. However, there's a bit of a difference. This now, we are moving to what they call dynamic ads, which means they'll be current and up to date. So if there's a great deal on tackle or a new lure release and the manufacturers want to get it out there and get people knowing or an upcoming tournament, they'll actually hear about it when it's going to happen, when it matters. Anyway, and if you're part of the fishing industry and thinking about getting involved, now's a great time to reach out. And I'd love to have a chat to see about ways we can work together. Now, for everyone else, the podcast isn't changing. Behind the scenes, I'm changing hosts, which means there's a little bit of work in the back end of it, but it should not make any difference up front. However, I would encourage you, if you do have any issues, then reach out to me and let me know. All right, apart from that, let's get into the current episode. So off to Lake Macquarie. What I might do is just go through the stats and what have you, and then I will get into the angler interviews. All right, so round 4, 15th of June, we had 57 in the fish activity wheel. We had a minor bite period at 9:17 through to 10:47 a.m. Low tide was at 5:36 a.m. at 0.26, running up to a high tide at 11:15 a.m. at 0.77. For this one, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get into touch with team, so Michael Colatruis and Rob Petruno. But anyway, look, they dropped 4.41 with a big bream of 1.25. All right, here we go. Okay, so up first in third place, we have Team Flat Knacky, and they dropped their 5 fish for 4.26 with a big bream of 1.23 kilos. With me on the line, I have Steve Cole. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks, mate. Good to be here.
Mate, that was a nice little round up at Lake Macquarie. And, mate, it looks like you got into a few good fish.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Didn't have a plan at all, but we just sort of turned up and just, sort of fished and thought we'll just do this and do that, and it sort of paid out for us, thankfully.
Yeah, sometimes no plan is the best plan, I reckon.
Yeah, well, we had literally not a plan. We were sitting at the briefing and we didn't even know where the hell we're going, to be honest, our first spot.
Nice. Especially at Lake Mac, it's such a big lake too.
Yeah, we predominantly fish south, so we knew we were always going to head south, but our first stop or bank or wherever we decided to fish was pretty well unknown until we got past the boats at Wanji and we were sending sail and we were like, oh, where do you want to go?
Oh, there you go. All right. Mate, leading into the event, did you get up and have a look around and have a bit of a pre-fish?
No, Daniel went out about 2 weeks earlier. He got a couple of fish, but it wasn't too many. And the last time I fished Lake Macquarie would have been about 4 weeks prior to the comp, just for a little bit of a social, and fished nothing like what we did on the day. So, yeah, we sort of really had no idea of what was really going on in the lake, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so you did go in quite blind, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was probably when I fished there a month ago. That would have been the first time I fished the lake for about 6 months, I'd reckon.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, let's jump around to comp day. Tell us about your first spot and how you started to get them.
So we left Wanji was when we put in at Dora Creek and went to the briefing, it said on the weather app that there was absolutely going to be like no wind all day. Anyway, we rock up and there's a bit of wind around first light, and I think, I might be all right actually, because Lake Macquarie, we always like the wind there. Went to the briefing, 40 minutes went past, and then you can just see it was just glassed out. So we like started heading south, and we just said, we'll go down to Chain Valley and we'll just go fish a flat. Well, hopefully there's a little bit of wind down there. There's a flat that we sort of every now and again fish, but it normally only fishes good in autumn, summer. But we thought if there's a bit of wind, we'll give it a crack and just spend 20 minutes on it. And if it's no good, we'll go. And yeah, we sort of pulled up down there, and I was throwing, I think, Z-Man Slim Swim, and Daniel was throwing a crankbait, and we'll just,
Okay.
do they like a crank or do they like a placky? And I think he got two straight up on the crank.
Okay.
And we sort of finished that run and like and ahhing if we do it again. And I think we might have done it one more time without any success. And there was not much wind on it at all. So we sort of, that sort of spot, like, we'll rule that one out. So, because there are only a couple of bag fillers, that we pulled off it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What made you choose a slim swim?
I've always sort of found the slim swims are good in the cold, like during the colder months, I feel anyway. And not too sure. It's a bit of I wouldn't say it's a go-to lure, but I don't mind that lure in the lake. So there's a couple of other lures that we'll probably touch on later on, but that was sort of my first option. And it didn't get any fish on the flat, obviously, because the cranks did. But I don't mind that lure. It's a pretty good lure for the colder months, I find anyway.
Yeah, cool. All right. So you got 2 bag fillers in the well.
Yeah.
What you do next?
Well, the water's a little bit cold, and we're like, a few people probably have done it over the years and that, but we just went down and fished like the hot water outlet I think it's down at Chain Valley.
Yeah.
And there's like, I don't know, it can be good and it can be absolutely crap. So like we didn't have a plan at all of what we're going to do for the day anyway. So we thought, we'll go down there and have a bit of a float down there and do the same sort of a thing. But we didn't motor all the way in. We sort of stayed a bit wide, and there's like a bit of a gutter down there that we sort of fished a bit deep with as well. But I think Daniel, I reckon he would have caught 10 flathead in 8 casts. It was just ridiculous. He just could not stop every cast. Tap, like you just get the tap and you're like flathead. Next, he'd say, take the electric. So I'm taking the electric. And then he'd get the flathead off, and then he'd stand back up the front, cast again, tap again, another flathead. And he'd done that for about 10 minutes straight, I reckon, eh?
Oh, that's frustrating.
It's just like, would you stop bloody catching him? But it was actually getting really annoying. So, but we sort of poked in a bit, and I think we ended up getting I think we got one at about 30 forker or 29 forker or something like that.
Okay, that's getting better.
I thought that's not too bad. He might be starting to push in because the flathead, we sort of got a whole heap of flathead, and then we didn't.
Yeah, okay.
Sort of hoping, hopefully the flathead are all gone and the bream might start moving in.
Yeah.
And as soon as that sort of happened, and then I got the like a 29 fork, I thought, that's not too bad. It's a fish.
Yeah.
So we sort of persisted down there for a little bit, and went and fished, like there's like a pretty shallow flat up there that a lot of people probably know about, and we'll cranking, or Daniel was cranking it because he loves crankbaiting, and don't think we'd done real well down there. And we sort of finished fishing the flat and getting a lot of tail. I was getting a lot of tailor and just flathead as well. That was just destroying the plastics. And I think Daniel hooked onto a flathead on the crank and it snapped him off. So we're both sort of standing, retying our lures.
Yeah.
And he's going through his tackle bag, and by that stage I've sort of thrown a couple of things at him, like gulp prawns and the slim swims and whatnot, and a motor oil grub, and they sort of weren't getting anything. And he's going through his bag, and there's a whole lot of bait fish down there. And I just seen this old packet. I said, what's that? And I can't even remember what it was, but it was like an old red sort of a packet and these 2.5, 3-inch fish, minnow-looking things, paddle tail, and
Right.
identical to bait fish. And he goes, oh, they're crap. I've had them for about 10 years. I said, yeah, well, it looks like it because the packet's that old. And I said, give me one. And he goes, you won't get anything here. Well, just give me one. So we sort of drifted on the edge of this flat and we're still casting. And I've thrown this lure that I've never seen in my life and I've never ever used one. And next minute I get this tick and I wound onto it. I was thinking, I didn't know if it was a flathead or not because it just picked it up off the bottom and it just started arcing. And I thought, oh, this might be a bream. Anyway, fought it. And yeah, sure enough, it was a really good bream that just didn't do much at all, but did all the right things, I guess you'd say, on comp day.
Yeah, 100%.
And got it to the boat, and that one went 1.1 kilo.
Right. So that wasn't even the big bream.
No, that wasn't the big bream at all. And we were cheering, ecstatic, and we're like, didn't think that was going to happen.
100% on the plastic that won't work.
On the plastic that won't work, and I've never used before. And yeah, we got that one.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of funny karma about that because we were down there, I think, last year in the same sort of area. And I was doing this, we were doing this, nearly the same thing. And I had a packet of, I think they were Daiwa Bait Junkie grubs, and it was a camo colour, and I never liked it. And Daniel said the exact same thing to me. He said, throw me that. And I gave him one, and he caught a kilo fish, just social fishing as well, in the same area on a lure that I don't like and hardly used.
And that was the solid one, the one where it's got green and red or something like that?
Yeah, it's really solid. Yeah.
Yeah. I've only used that a couple of times, but I've caught a kilo fish on it.
Yeah, right. I've used it a few times and done no good. And then I give him Daniel, I just said, have the packet. And then he's thrown it around for 2 minutes and caught like another kilo fish on it.
Right.
And he's just, but it was just funny because I did the same thing to him on the comp day with his old packet of plastics.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny. So yeah, we got that one, and yeah, he sort of thought, oh, that's pretty good. Like, might be worth just sitting down here for a little bit longer, grinding it out. Hopefully another, because there's a lot of current down there that's getting pushed out, so you're sort of hoping the fish sort of might replenish a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we sort of sat down there, I think, for another 40, 50 minutes, flicking around. And yeah, sort of didn't even really get many flathead in that after it either. So sort of really, really went quiet. Yeah, that was sort of, we'll leave the hot water outlet now.
Okay.
We've got 4 fish in the well, I think, by then. The 1.1, the 29, and a couple of bag fillers.
Yeah.
So, and this is all by 9 o'clock, I'd say, 9:30.
Oh, so still early.
Yeah, no, it's still early. Yep.
Yeah.
But then we sort of were leaving there because we're scratching our heads like, oh, where do you want to go now? So, but we ended up poking up out of the hot water outlet, and there was no wind. It was just dead calm, glassed out down there, and we'll sort of, we'll go try this like a little bit of a deeper. I wouldn't say it's not an edge. It's sort of a fair way off. It's a deeper sort of part of the lake, but it's in between a sort of an edge and a flat, but it's probably a deep gutter for about 200 meters wide or something like that. So, and just full of cockle-weed and that we fished before and had sort of a little bit of success, but nothing. You just go there and pluck a couple of fish out and you sort of leave there. That in the past we've done. So we moved to that area, and I think we pulled straight up, and I still had that fish lure, that live fish looking lure on, and we pulled up and I cast out first cast, and I'm just working about 2.5, 3 meters of water, and Daniel's got a gulp prawn on, and we're sort of just talking and having a yarn and fishing, and then I sort of look down, and here's this, 3 meter hammerhead just coming straight at the boat.
Right.
And I sort of shit myself, and I was like, look at this. And it was like right there, and then it's seen the boat and spooked, and it turned, and it's like my line was there, and it's turned and it's hit my line and taken off, and me lures I've hooked in its fin or wherever it hooked it and just went, gone. Okay, no.
So you hooked a hammerhead?
Yeah, so I hooked the bloody hammerhead.
Oh, no way.
Unintentionally, and it sort of frightened the hell out of me. Yeah, and that was the end of those lures. I didn't have any more of them lures left, which so I was,
Oh, no.
I was spewing. I was like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was a bit disappointed in that bloody hammerhead. So,
I was going to say bit of excitement for the day, though.
yeah, well, you're sort of standing in a bass boat that's not really high off the water, and then you've got this bloody 3-meter hammerhead like less than a meter from you. You don't know what's going to happen. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool. You don't sort of see that too often.
Yeah.
So, and then I think at one stage there, we were sort of down there, we seen three sharks finning all at the same time in that area. So there's plenty going on down there, and the sounder was just loaded with bait. So I thought, this might be a good little spot. So yeah, we stayed down there for a bit, and I think by that, because I lost that lure, I tied on a Z-Man, the new Z-Man prawn in motor oil, because I love motor oil. And Daniel was throwing the gulp prawn, camo gulp prawn.
Oh, yeah.
And we pretty well instantly, we got another fish about 34-car, just fishing in that 2.5, 3 meters of water. And we're like, oh, that's good. Throw that in the well. We've got our 5, so
you got full bag. Yep.
We're happy now. Yeah, we literally just kept plucking fish after fish, and nothing real big, and just sort of kept that bag. And then I don't know, we probably would have caught 15 bream, 15 legals, just fishing deep down in that area.
Wow.
And would sort of do a run, and then lift the lecky up, main motor back, and then move across 50 so meters, and then like sort of do that another run, catch a few fish, lecky up, main motor back, move across. And we sort of moved across a couple 100 meters and just kept working this sort of area. And I can't remember which order it come in, but we caught a whole heap of flathead again, and we found out that the bream they really wanted to eat that lure just doing nothing at all.
Oh, okay.
So I call it grubbing. So we'll just dead set, cast out, let it hit the bottom, and just slight twitches, shakes, and just stop.
Yeah.
And just repeat. And just, you're probably not even lifting the lure off the ground 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then I got another tick, wound onto a fish, and because the way that they were eating it and fighting it, it was like flathead like. It was weird. They didn't really do too much. I don't know why, but yeah, and another big arc, staying down deep, head shakes, a few little runs, and said to Daniel, I said, this is another bream. And got it in the boat, and yeah, it was another fish. I don't think it was 1.1. It was like just over 1 kilo.
Okay.
So we were cheering on that. We were ecstatic that it was over 1 kilo. And then we're sort of looking at the fish we had, and it was most of that, until 12 o'clock, we were just catching fish and just looking at that one. Yep, that one's bigger, throw that one away, and just gradually upgrading until I got that 2nd kilo fish.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're like, that's really good. I'll be happy to stay down here all day if we just got to grind out. And even if you catch another kilo fish every hour, you'd stay down here.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we did. We just said, yeah, we made the call, and we just said, we're just going to stay here all day. We're just not leaving. And
wow,
the bait, the weed on the bottom, and the bait everywhere around us, it was like that pretty much all day until about 1 o'clock, I'd reckon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we just didn't really change anything in what we're doing, and I was just throwing the prawn, Z-Man prawn, and Daniel just kept throwing the gulp prawn, and we're both catching just as many fish.
Okay.
And I think it was about 12:30, and you're fishing that sort of same area for a few hours. It's pretty boring. We don't really like fishing like that. We're more of a shallow, fish fast, structure kind of a team. So when we made that call of just sitting down there and persisting, we knew it was a grind, but we thought if it pays off, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was about 12:30. We kept fishing and gradually upgrading. And next minute, Daniel's got a tick on his line. And then he goes, "This is good. This is a really good fish." And I was just like, heart started pounding, thinking, "Don't you lose this. Don't you lose this." Because
Yeah.
we're thinking, we've already got a pretty good bag. Like for 5 fish, we're sort of thinking we've got about 3.2 kilos or something like that. You know what I mean? 3.3 maybe. And I'm thinking we really wanted a couple of more kickers in that bag to put us up there because Lake Macquarie, who knows what's going to come in.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that tick and he just said, he called it straight away. This is a really good fish. And I've just wound me rod up, threw it on the deck, grabbed the net, and I'm just waiting ready. And I was like, go easy, trying to keep all the nerves and that calm and try not to lose his fish. And he's fighting it for a bit, done a full lap of the boat. It's playing up a little bit, and I'm just thinking, I hope this doesn't pop because I think he was actually using 3 pound, to be honest.
Yeah, okay.
And I was running 4 pound all day, and I knew he was running 3, so I was even more nervous. And yeah, we seen this thing come up, and I thought, that's a donkey. And yeah, we got it to the boat, and that one was the one that went that 1.2.
1.23, yeah.
2.3, yeah, 1.23 it went. And we were cheering, and I'd say everyone could have heard us from all around the lake the way we were carrying on.
Yep.
And it actually made the 2 other kilo fish look pretty small. It was just a big old, massive snapperhead looking on it, eh? It was a really old fish.
Yeah, wow.
So, yeah, we were cheering and we're like, yeah, that's really, really good. We're happy with that.
Definitely.
So that was definitely throughout the smallest one. So I think that's sort of where that gave us like probably a really good upgrade.
Yeah, I was going to say that would have put more or less a kilo on, maybe, 950 or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's where I think we were sort of sitting before that fish. We thought we were around about that, a 3.1, 3.2 or something maybe, and just guessing. And yeah, when we got that, we were like just cheering. I thought, we were thinking that's 4 kilo right there. That could be up there. That could be 4 kilo.
I was going to say that's a chance.
Yeah, well, we were like, that's a chance. So we sort of kept fishing, and I think there was one in there that might have been an upgrade as well, because we sort of threw out a lot of fish. We just kept catching fish, checking the smallest one. Yeah, that one's bigger, throwing it. We probably caught about 40-odd bream all day. So it's just kept going through the well. And it was like 120 or something, and we were right down Chain Valley. And Daniel's like, all right, let's go. I said, we've still got 40 minutes of fishing left. And he goes, I don't want to risk these fish dying and all this and that. I said, anyway, I'll say we're staying here. We're just going to keep fishing. But yeah, so that was pretty well the way our day panned out.
Yeah, no, it was decent. It was good. It's like you've caught fish all day, caught a bunch of bream as well as a bit of bycatch.
Yeah.
And a couple of kickers.
Yeah.
Can't get better than that.
But Daniel, I forgot to mention as well, Daniel got an 80 centimetre Jew. It was about 80-odd centimetre Jewy down there as well on a 2-inch gulp prawn.
Wow, that's a pretty great day's fishing.
Yeah, it was good. He got a heap of flathead. He got that Jewy, and like a Jew bite, they just sort of pick it and have a bit of a run, and you can feel that weight. And we thought, oh, this might be fish, but then it just started screaming. And I go, that's not a bream. And we're like, yeah,
too big.
That's a Jewy. That's a Jewy.
Yeah.
So took him about 20 minutes to get it in, but yeah, we thought, yeah, it was a pretty good day actually down there in that little spot. There was just an enormous amount of bait, and that's just why we stayed.
Yeah, well, it seems like it was a pretty good choice. You weren't very far behind the ultimate winners. So, yeah, great result.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. I think Dave Masters, he got a 4.8 kilo bag by himself, and everyone was just like, holy crap.
He did. He had a good kicker too.
Yeah, that was a great bag, that one. That was the biggest bag I've seen for a while.
Definitely.
Yeah, we just that's the way our day panned out, and we just sort of fished nothing like the way we like fishing, but when you sort of find them, it's hard to leave them. So, yeah.
Oh, very cool. All right, mate, for coming in third place, what do you guys get to take home?
I think it was $1,050. because we got a kilo fish, I think we got a $50 voucher online as well.
Oh, yeah. With Adam, yep.
Yeah, with Adam there. So, because Daniel got the biggest one, he just, bought a few more lures and that ready for Foster.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day out. Pays for the next
Absolutely.
round and a bit of fuel and the next comp and that. So
That's right. And did you track down some more of those old lures you couldn't get any more?
Nah, I got him to look for them and that, but they're discontinued and I can't even remember the name of them, to be honest. They were real old. Like, yeah, wouldn't even know what they were called. I just picked them up and said, I want this. And then, I think the bloody tailor took a couple, they bite the tails off them. And then, that last one, I lost it, which sucked to the hammerhead. And, I was spewing about that. But, anyway, we got a few nice fish.
Absolutely. All right, mate. Last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Oh, I think me and Daniel would probably like to bloody say big thanks to the missus and to our partners for letting us come out and do this stuff. That's pretty good. And and probably big thanks to a few of the boys that we always fish with and hang around with and have a good laugh. And Foster will catch up with a few fellas and probably have a few beers. And that's about it, really. I don't have any sponsors. We don't have any sponsor or anything. We just like to turn up and go fishing and have a few beers after it, eh?
Sounds good to me, mate. And it feels like the weather's going to be okay for Foster, so good luck up there.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
No worries, mate. All right, you have a good night.
You too, Sal.
All right, so coming in first place, I have Team Stratosphere. They dropped 5 fish for 4.84 kilos, which included a D Big Bream for the round of 1.4 kilos. With me, I have David Masters. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for having me on, mate. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, mate. It's good to have you on. And I should mention you were solo on that day.
Correct.
Yeah. So, mate, cracking bag with a cracking fish in a 1.4. It's always pretty good when they hit the deck.
Absolutely. Yeah, what can I say? I got lucky, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes the Big Brim's good. And we didn't speak about this specifically, but you did beat one of your mates in Michael, which is probably a good thing.
I beat quite a few of my mates, to be honest, which was great.
Fair enough.
Mick actually did say to me, he said, if I'm going to get flogged, he goes, I don't mind getting flogged by a good mate. So it was really nice of him.
Yeah, no, that's very, very cool. All right, mate. Leading into this comp, did you get up there and have a bit of a look around for a pre-fish?
I did. I fished another smaller comp up there a couple of months before. So that was before the floods, and I sort of found that I did fairly well up there. Then they had all that flooding, and so I sort of had a look around that time when it was flooded and didn't really like what I saw. But I'd been fishing it all right, so I did go up and have a look. And then pre-fish day, I went and had a look. I didn't hit the spots I wanted to hit in the comp. I just went looking for other things that were similar. And I found them, and I found a whole bunch of fish, like probably from 27s to 31s. So I was happy enough with that. I thought, well, if my spots don't fire, I know where to go. I know what to do. So I went into it fairly happy with what I'd found. So, yeah, it was productive.
Yeah, okay. And what was water quality like?
From memory, it was still a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a black coffee, but it wasn't fantastic. It was still definitely dirty. There wasn't too much debris in it. It was, I don't know how to describe it. It was clean but dirty, if you know what I mean. It was a dark colour, but it was still fairly clean. Like it was relatively clearish, but it was dark.
Yeah, right. Okay. I know that when I'd fished up there, either the week before or a couple of weeks before.
Well, you had a comp, I think, the week or two before, and it was pretty filthy when you guys were there.
That's right. It was actually would have been 3 weeks before. It was really filthy. And I made the mistake of thinking, they're all going to be deep. There's no way they're going to be shallow. But it was really fresh, and some of them, the good fish, were shallow.
I can attest to that.
Very good. Very good. All right. Last thing before we move into competition day, did you crack any patterns in terms of what to tie on or how to get prepared?
Yes, I did. They were shallow. They were not necessarily right up on the edges, but they were close to the edges. My thought was that with all of that fresh flushing through the system, I felt if you could find cockle beds that may have opened up because of the fresh, I thought they were probably up eating on that sort of stuff. So that's really what I was looking for.
Okay.
So unlike a lot of people, I like blading and I like blading in the shallows. So that's kind of what I went to do.
Sure.
So that was kind of the pattern that I was really looking at. I had everything tied on, but I didn't use it.
Okay. All right. So let's roll around to I can't remember whether it's a Saturday or Sunday. Roll around to comp day.
Sunday.
Sunday? Yeah, tell us about your day. How'd you go about catching some decent fish?
So I looked at the start. I started in 13th. There was a couple of people above me who I felt for sure would go where I wanted to go, which was down south. I had looked at some spots and, well, in a comp that we fished down there not that long before, there was heaps of people where I wanted to fish. So I sort of went looking elsewhere and just stumbled across some fish. And like, I went to fish some boat holes and I had live scope on the boat and I looked around and I saw a bunch of fish schooled up nowhere near boats, just in the middle of a bunch of them.
Right.
So I played into those and pulled a good fish out and I just went, look at that.
Yeah.
I have to run back to pre-fish. I had massive issues with the boat. My electric I was having some warranty problems and the warranty stuff hadn't all come through. So I needed a new motherboard in the electric. I just got that working, but the pedal had failed.
Oh.
They didn't get it to me in time. So 10:30 at night, I'm trying to get the pedal working. I had to borrow one from Adam Richards, good mate of mine. And then my front sounder decided not to work as well. So all the things I relied on were like really throwing me out. But I just kind of looked at it and I thought, you know what? This has happened to me before. You just put it aside and just fish.
Mm.
So basically all I was doing was like, I got the electric working. I had no sounders, had nothing. So for me, it was just like throw the line out, watch the line, watch for any ticks, just really concentrate on doing what you're doing rather than watching screens and that sort of stuff. So going back to the technique, I was very focused on exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back, ringing back around, found fish not where I expected them in between boats. Like I wanted to hit the boat holes and went, oh, look, they're out in the middle. They took a blade. So I thought, well, let's start doing that. Fishing around sort of, then I just, I thought more about the cockle beds and all that. So I basically just went looking for those and I thought, well, if they're biting blades, let's just keep doing that sort of thing. No secrets to really what I was doing at all.
Mm.
Yeah, just threw them and started getting results. So I think I had my first bite I got a 31 at 20 past 7. I got a 27 at 7:39. I got a 26 at 8. I got a 29 at 10. After 8 o'clock, it sort of went off where I was.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I've got to move. I've got to go looking elsewhere. So I went to some other bays that I've looked at but not really fished that much. Went into one of those and it was like glassy as. There was no wind, no nothing. And if you're fishing shallows in that sort of weather, it's like, it's wrong. You know what I mean? But one of the things that I've learned lately is if I make a plan, I'm damn well going to make it work. So I stuck to it.
Yeah.
And really fished very subtly. So I went to this, this other bay I threw out. I got a 29er at 10, and this is all forks. Then I got a 38 forker at 10:07.
Mm-hmm.
I was bouncing around the boat. I just couldn't contain myself. I was like, oh, maybe I'm going to have a good day.
Very nice.
Very next cast at 10:16, I got a 37 forker. And, man, I was kind of speechless. I was like, nah, is this how you win a comp? Is this what happens?
Mm.
So many times I look at people's bags and I think, how do they just consistently find such a lot of big fish? I can go fish and get one, and then about smallies. And then I had two by this stage with some not too unhealthy backups as well.
Yeah.
When you look at a 37, 38, 29, 31, 27,
yeah,
not a bad bag.
That's right.
And then I threw out again and another 9 minutes later, I got a 31 again.
Yeah.
Then it went off. So I decided to move again, just bounced from bay to bay, just doing what I was doing, looking for what I was looking for. Areas. Now, this is going by memory too, because I had no sounders or anything like that at this point in time.
Mm.
I'm reading the edges, looking at points, sort of looking through the water and saying, well, it looks like this might hold a bit of, rubbly bottom and that sort of thing. Then I think 12:30, I got a 30 forker.
Wow.
12:33, I got a 24. 12:50, I got another 24. Then it sort of, I was sort of working hard for it. Stumbled across. I saw some. What are those submarine power lines?
Oh, yeah.
And from previous experience, I find fish tend to like them. I don't know why. I found a few spots in the Hawkesbury where I'll always find them on those submarines for some reason. They weren't.
Yeah, right.
However, probably 50 metres up the bank, I cracked this 39.5 forker at like 1:30. And then I was bouncing off the sides of the boat. I thought, surely, like, that's got to get me a place. Like, I honestly never thought for a second I could win a comp on that. I thought I've still got, like backing that up, I think I still had 231s below that. And I thought, they're, looking at the bag, I thought they're not big fish. Like, I thought I need to move those. And I just cast back into where I did, and I got hit again. But I was looking at the time going, I need sort of 20 minutes to get back. And it's already after I've dealt with that fish, I've got 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
I hooked another one, but I'd wound the drag up because I didn't know. I was all day. It was a really subtle bite. I've got to say, it was a very subtle bite. Small trebles, I don't really play them that hard when there's nothing for them to go into. So a bit of nana drag, and then, like looking at going 5 minutes, I don't have time to really play this fish out. So I wound the drag up, got it next to the boat. It saw the boat, kicked its head, and off it went. It would have been the 5 kilo bag.
Wow.
It was another high 30s, like definitely high 30s. I couldn't tell you any more than that, but it was the upgrade I would have needed.
Yeah.
Only 140 grams off, you know what I mean? At the end of the day. It was not heartbreaking. Like, I just thought, oh, well, there goes the win. To me, it was just like, that's what you need to do to actually win one of these tournaments. You can't make mistakes like that. So I was a bit down on myself, got back to the weigh-in, talked to some good friends of mine. Dan Bonacorso is another person I speak to really a lot.
Yeah.
On the trip up there, actually, 5 o'clock in the morning, he rang me and we spoke all the way up on the phone, just G'd me up saying, going to have a good day. We talked about what we're going to do because we're both fishing at solo and whatever. And he sort of said to me, he goes, "Did you win?" I'm just like, I couldn't stop grinning. He goes, "You go to a bag, haven't you?" I was like, "Yeah, it's all right." And then, like, I didn't weigh in last. I was sort of one of the mid to sort of end of the field weighing in.
Yeah.
And it's like, I knew I had a good bag looking at what was there. And then I did, at that point in time, I thought, I think I've got Big Bream, which was a bit of a surprise too. And then I'm sort of standing there with Nick and some of the other boys, Dan Holder and that, just like going, "Oh, fuck, I'm so nervous. He's going, "You've got it, man. You've got it. There's no one else that's going to beat that."
Yeah.
I was going, "Oh, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, mate." But sure enough, that was it. Like, yeah, the rest sort of history. It was an amazing day. I just couldn't believe how blessed I was, really.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Mate, a couple of things with it. You fished, from what I gather, you fished blades pretty much all day. Was it a subtle bite, or how was it? Were they belting it? Was they getting on the drop?
Extremely subtle. I think you sort of, like, the first big one I got, I'd cast out, I sort of let it hit the bottom, just like hop, and then I just sat down and grabbed a drink, and I still had my rod in one hand, and I just felt the slightest tick on it. And so I didn't want to spook it, so I lifted it ever so slowly, basically like a crab, just lifted it on and just wound it on. And it was ages before I think it even realised it was hooked.
Yeah, right.
And then, once it did, I was chasing it with the boat. It was extremely subtle.
Yeah.
Like the smaller fish, they would hit hard. You would feel them like tap, 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 and you sort of pause it and then they'd catch up to it like a hard body bite. But, yeah, it was very subtle, real subtle.
Yeah, right. Okay. And with your lines and leaders, what were you running for the day? So
the wrap-up of the whole gear is, I don't buy expensive gear because I'd rather have lots of rods than spend a couple of $1,000 on each combo. So I just run, for what I was doing, Samaki Zing Extreme rods, just on a 2,500 Stratic, 6 pound platypus braid, 6 pound, I think the Daiwa X-Link leader. And yeah, that's pretty much the setup. It's just quite light drags for those.
Yeah, wow. And do you run scent?
Sometimes, but was I? No, I wasn't. No, I didn't run any scent. No.
Yeah, interesting.
No. Just to really, I think you sort of had to drag it along the bottom a little bit and then just sort of leave it and then wait for them, really.
Yeah.
That was the real pattern of what I worked out, was just how to actually hook the big ones.
Yeah, nice. Well, you obviously did well. Like you almost a 5 kilo bag. Yeah, it's pretty good going. With the Big Bream, like a 1.4 is a bit of a beast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah, it was a 38.5 fork, so I don't know what that works out tip-wise, but not the biggest fish I've pulled out of there. My personal best is actually up there, so
yeah,
it was a 44 fork. It was my best that I've ever pulled out of there.
That's big fish.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't weigh that one, unfortunately. I didn't have good scales then, so it was only, a measurement, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's a great fish. Yeah, and a 38.5 to go 1.4, it must have been pretty fat.
Very fat, very tall and very fat.
Yeah.
Like massive big mouth on it, but like wide. It would have been, you open up your hand, it's probably like 70, 80 mil across, like a really fat fish.
Yeah, fair enough.
That was the thing, because I think they were definitely at the time feeding on the cockle beds, and I think they were just gorging themselves. I think the timing was right. They were just well fed.
They're just full.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. All right. I reckon that covers the fishing pretty well.
Not much more than that.
Yeah, no, I think that sums it up. What'd you get to take home?
$3,208.
$3,208.
Yeah. Some weird amount. I don't know why, but yeah. So my first, but more importantly, the big novelty checks. That really sings to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the Big Bream was the tonic sunglasses, which I highly rate. Using another leading brand, I think these are every bit as good. So yeah, it was a good day.
Very good, mate. That is awesome. All right. Last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Yeah, definitely. Very big thank you to Adam Richards for helping me out with the pedal. That was amazing. I mean, I live an hour and a half's drive away from the ramp, and I was still up at 10:30 trying to get everything working the night before. So I was up there on minimal sleep. But Adam, he was like, "No, man, I'll come up and help you." It's like, I'm super helpful. And I say Dan Bonacorso for the pep talks on the way there. Like, always great having a chat. He's a great supporter. Other good guys that have been really good supporters and like mentors for me is, like Mick Colatouris, Ahmed, some of the other boys are just, just been, I'll tell you what, this Bream crowd, man, there's so many good people in it that are like super, super giving. And those guys, like, there's so many others that I've forgotten and haven't mentioned, but those guys, ever since I first started bream fishing, have always been really good supporters. If I have a bad day after a comp, there's always messages, how'd you go? Like, if I'd say something I was upset about it, Ahmed had messaged me, "You all right, man? You're right." So, no, I'm good. So, really good boys, and thank you to all of them. Thank you to my lovely wife for allowing me to fish whenever I want. She's never said no. So, and, yourself for running this sort of thing. And the Grant Oliver runs a great ship. It's an awesome comp series. I think it'll be around for a long time. For those who don't want to travel all over the country with ABC, I think, it's a really good series. So, that's my thanks. And also probably Nick Wells and Matt Wells as mentors. Nick owns Barrow up in Queensland. He's been, a really good supporter of me and everything that I do is in the gay bream fishing world. So,
no one's ever said that before, not on the podcast.
Well, coming from a barra fishing background, it's been a really good experience. So I've copped a lot of flack for it, and I really love it. So,
well, there you go.
To all of you.
There you go. All right, mate. That's absolutely brilliant. Look, great interview. Congratulations. And congratulations on last weekend, because you won another comp. You won the East Coast Bream Series, I think.
Third in the East Coast Bream Series. Last week on the Hawkesbury last week was East Coast Sports Fishing, which is a lot smaller comp. Having said that, I'm up against a couple of really good locals on Lake Mac as well, so it was good to take the win there. So, yeah.
Very good. All right, mate. Congratulations, and we'll talk to you again.
Thank you very much. I hope so.
Thanks, mate. All right, so there you have it, everybody. Another great little episode on one of my favourite waterways, although I do say it quite a bit about a bunch of the waterways. Aside from that, as always, look, if you're interested in a little bit more or want to get into a bit of a community spirit, or you just want to support the podcast, jump over to breamfishingproject.supercast.com, sign yourself up to the collective, come in and join in what's going on there. If you do that, please shoot me a message on Facebook. Make sure we're friends so that I can link you up a little bit easier into the Facebook page. Apart from that, Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening all the way through, and I'll talk to you next week on the Bream Fishing Project.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired, and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.